So we are International Common Good HRM Research Network, which was established by Brian, and Brian will maybe talk later about it. But this is, at the moment, we are roughly 65 members internationally, and we are focusing on the research on sustainable human resources management and particularly common good. So what we are also doing, we are encouraging and support research in discussion about Common Good HRM, which are located or was, so seminar work on this topic was produced in 2020. So if you like, you can look up for this publication by Ost, Matthews and Müller-Kamen. I hope that Michael is also there. And we also facilitate collaboration around those topics. So we are, like I said, it's a mix of academics from different universities. As you can see, we have a steering committee, and the members of steering committees are also there. It's also a combination of people from different universities across the globe. And what we do, we definitely do a research projects and also the international collaboration. We are also having the Common Good HRM conferences, which we are participating in AOM and also EGOS. You will see us. We're also organizing the international conference, which, for example, next one will be in March 2025. So if you like to join, please feel free to do so. We also are arranging the collaborative events in terms of teaching. So, for example, I was participating and joined the teaching courses in VU, for example, and we also collaborate in developing some of materials in terms of teaching and case studies, for example. We're also engaging in practitioner networks, as well as organizing the public events. So, for example, Easy Talks for Common Good will be 3 times a year. So like September, next will be in December and February. We also publish in the special issues, and also other publications are part of our work. And we're also having a newsletter. If you would like to subscribe to newsletter, so that Stephanie will be very pleased to, if you would like to contact her. In terms of the Common Good HRM cluster at the OU, it was established last year, thanks to Brian for inspiring and actually driving this network. So we have established this, and you will find this online if you like. So under RIF, Research into Employment, Empowerment and Future, it's a cluster, independent cluster of the many colleagues who are focusing on researching critical management issues mainly, as well as different areas of employment relations. We also have mainly, so we are focusing on innovation in people management, which explores the common good approach to HRM, and I'm a cluster lead for this cluster at the OU. At the moment, we do have running 2 major projects, reducing impacts from hazardous waste in the UK and hybrid work in academia. So if somebody is interested in those topics, please feel free to reach out to me. And we have a new PhD student, Victoria, who will also join us in September. So I'm very, very pleased to have her here and also working with me later on this cluster. In terms of the, as you know, Open University has an excellent HRM, a master program, and this is, I don't know if you have heard, so about the general composition of the master program, it's definitely a good investment if you would like to become a high impact HR leader. And I did this master myself, so I really enjoyed, and this program was redesigned just recently by adding a lot of new contemporary issues, material about contemporary issues like ethical dilemma, sustainable HRM, and also EDI a lot. So this will, of course, help the HR leader to build or handle these critical issues with confidence. And also here, it's, as you know, what is difficult is to balance this organizational objectives with fairness and integrity. This is also exactly what this program is about, how to handle these difficult parts. So, and more details, as you will see, there is a deadline for application for Masters in Human Resources. I think it's 10th of October. So if you feel that somebody would be interested, please feel free to pass on this information. And this would be it. I would like to introduce Brian, our guest speaker for this session. And Brian is a professor, as an assistant professor, right, in University of Vienna. He has really a focus of research, Common Good HRM. He is a really excellent researcher and put the foundation for Common Good HRM. He is also interested in developing sustainable framework in neoliberalism, meaning how to unpack this kind of challenges what human resources professionals have in their work. Yeah, Brian, do you want to maybe add something later? So because I would like then stop sharing. So if you like, someone would like to contact me, please feel free to drop me a line. And I would like to stop sharing and we move on to a discussion. I would like to ask you, so as a main speaker, right? So why do we need actually Common Good HRM?
Well, good morning, everybody. I hope there are no hecklers today. It's a town hall meeting, so I hope there's going to be no hecklers like the Labour conference yesterday. But I do get a lot of heckles, if you're the English-speaking hecklers, disruption at conferences. And it seems to be always the same question, just like hecklers in conferences and town halls. It seems to be always the same. One guy there has a grievance about something and shouts it out. And I have this feeling that seems to happen an awful lot with regard to HR and the role of HR, and especially trying to introduce a new concept. A lot of people feel threatened. And so that's the situation. So it's great to have you here today. I won't talk too much about myself because we don't have that much time, but the first thing I'd like to say is the introduction, the details that HR, that's the most popular program, has to do with health and well-being and mental health, said me one thing, it's nice that they're doing this, HR, but it also is for me a reflection is that how HR defines and business defines the good, what's good for people, tends to be very context and trend related. We used to have diversity, we used to have resilience, then now we have mental health, not everywhere, and we also have sustainability. So we have these trends, and an awful lot to do is now sustainability is the good thing to do. It's good for people, it's good for society. So definitions of the good and what is good are ambiguous, and not always, basically it's a very ambiguous term, and that is that offers us a challenge, but it also gives us an opportunity. So the question is actually not do we need, but it's a very interesting question. It's does Common Good HRM exist? Now, in order to answer this question, it depends. I would answer that in saying it depends on your intent or your research motivation. Does Common Good HRM exist? People ask me in conferences, very nice, but does it exist? Well, it depends if you want to take an empirical approach. If you take an empirical approach, you want to describe reality as it is. We do empirical work. Does common good, whatever that is, exist? And then we use a scale and we measure it and so on. But the other from philosophical approach, you can also take a normative approach, and you could say, well, my role is, or my intent is not to describe reality as it is, but basically maybe to suggest how reality should be. Right? So there's a normative approach, and I do tend to take in normative ethics, and that tends to be a conflict between empirical researchers and more normative approaches. Basically saying, should researchers should be objective and shouldn't be making normative proposals and normative suggestions. And I say, well, let's have a thought, let's have a think about that. Maybe we can do both. So it depends on that. Now, there are basically two debates going on. And I'll give 5 minutes for the first debate and 5 minutes for the second, if I manage it. The first debate is, there is a general debate in philosophy and economics, not so much in management, is about what is common and what is good and what is the common good. And the second debate that is going on is mostly in HR, also in negative, is what is sustainability? How do we find sustainability? What do we mean by it? A Common Good HRM basically attempts to link both of these debates, what is common, what is good, and what is sustainable. So we basically could say that Common Good HRM is a multi-stakeholder approach to sustainability. That's why it's a type 4, a new type within the narrative of sustainability. To keep it simple, it's probably more than that. Common Good HRM could be maybe something that's not even to do with sustainability as it's understood. It could be to do with social justice. We could replace sustainability with social justice as well. So that's getting too confusing. Keep it simple. Common Good HRM basically is a critical multi-stakeholder perspective on sustainability. The definition of common good, I'll do 5 minutes on common good and then on common good HRM. The definition, according to the Stanford Encyclopedia, I'm not the expert, I'll read it. Basically, the common good in any community, it's community, of course. In any community, the common good consists of the facilities and interests that members have a special obligation to care about the virtue of the fact that they stand in a certain relationship with each other. So that basically what we're saying is it's linked to this idea of a social obligation. It means that the common good basically means that it refers to the facilities, whether material, cultural, or institutional, that the members of a community provide to all other members in order to fulfill a relational obligation. So basically what it's saying, the common good is basically what a community, a group, a family, an organization, a team, a network decides what it is. We decide what is our common interest, and then we attempt to, so we could have this sort of effect. And that would be the idea of what the common good could be something general. There is a philosophical approach that the common good is something normative, but there is also a very practical approach to saying the common good, as in regard to business, is basically what an organization defines it to be. What is our common interest? Now, there is difficulty because that means that every organization and every group can have a different understanding of common good. That could cause a problem, is that then it's difficult to achieve. The problem there would be cultural relativism, that if everybody's good is as good as everybody else is, then we have no standardization. We can't develop scales. We can't measure anything because it's very subjective. So we have and that's exactly what the problem we have with diversity, and the idea about woke is everybody's understanding of gender and inclusion, it tends to be different. So we do have, because people are afraid, because they want pluralism, people are afraid of actually setting a normative standard because this idea of moral culturalism and context. So I think it's much better and easier to say, to agree, let's not go into debate about what common good is, but basically agree is think about the different questions. Think about basically saying is, when we're thinking about the good, what we want. What is the purpose? We think of some. What is the purpose? What is the purpose of our collaboration, of our organization? What do we want to achieve? Yeah. What's the purpose of business? And then think about what we want to actually achieve together as a society. Why are we in an organization? Why are we in teams? What are our shared interests? First decide on that in the local, so really in a local context, decide what is good for us. But a very important point is it doesn't matter what we decide, it always has to be human centric. The goal of common good always has to be human flourishing, individual human flourishing, not collective human flourishing. That could come, but individual human flourishing. So we basically and we decide what is. Are we focused on all our decision making, our strategies? Do they positively contribute to human well-being? That can be mental health, that can be confidence, that can be trust, that can be democracy. But basically, at the end of the day, does every individual in our collective society, family, organization have the opportunities to be an active member of this society and to flourish as a social being? That's linked to the idea that people are not selfish, people are actually social, interactive human beings.